I'm Benjamin Hall, Fox News correspondent and New York Times best-selling author. Join me for my brand new podcast, Searching for Heroes. Make sure you subscribe to this series wherever you download podcasts and leave a rating and review.
What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the TMossBoss Show. In today's episode, I wanted to talk on my old job. I always like reference my old job when I'm talking about something like, oh yeah, my old job, I did this, or at my old job, this happened, or at my old job. Like, I always will talk about my old job, but I don't talk about it. You see what I'm saying? Like, I don't talk on like my experience working at this place for like 4 years, like almost 4 years, because I actually they had let us go, or we had all got like laid off like 2 months or it was 2 months prior before my 4-year anniversary. But yeah, other than that, like I worked at that place for almost 4 years, and it was torture, but at the same time, I feel like that it did make me a better worker. Like that's one thing that I have to say for sure, is that place, it definitely did make me a better worker. But I'm going to be talking on everything, like everything that you pretty much my mindset while working at that place. Because I lost my job there. Like I feel like I should have did an episode like this a long time ago. I feel like I did talk on this place, but I always gave y'all like the clean edited version. Like I didn't want to tell y'all how I really felt. But yeah, at times I was like, bro, I should just look everybody in their face, let them have it, and just leave. Just leave. Just don't ever just turn back. I remember it was around the time, so let's start all the way back from 2016 when I very first got hired onto that place. So I actually wasn't even supposed to, so my mom and my sister, they actually had hooked me up with that job. I never would have known about that job, but I was like, YouTube, it's getting kind of hard to like do things with YouTube and stuff. So a part of me was like, dang, I wanted to just, use the stuff that I had, because I was like, I had something going on good with YouTube. And so I was like, I wanted to do that, but I'm like, dang, I am going to need like better equipment and things with YouTube, because the stuff that I had back then, the crazy part about it is that it's good that I got that job, because if I would have waited a year, because my laptop, so the laptop that I had originally in 2015 for making videos, that 2 years, so it was a year after I got that job, my laptop had went out on me. So I had to go out and get me a new laptop, and I'm like, man, I would have been messed up if I wouldn't have had that job. So that job, it did help me out. Like I'll give them that. It did help me out. But overall, like how that place had operated, I'm like, hey yo, like something needs to change here, because I'm not liking what's going on right now. So, but no, let's start all the way from 2016. So 2016, started working at this place. Dope. Well, I had my issues. I had my run-ins, because I'll admit on my part, I am a little bit hard-headed. It's hard to, get things through to me and stuff. So there were at times where I would bump heads with certain employees that had worked there. I know I had bumped heads. I bumped heads with my supervisor, with the other cashier, because it was a 3-cashier job. So it was me, the cashier, and the supervisor. I bumped heads with them. I remember I bumped heads with a cook that worked there. But it wasn't even like, I didn't even do anything to the bro. So let me just talk on that guy real quick. I'm trying to think, like, maybe that was his name, but I'm not for certain. But anyways, so I remember after that, like, it just had always been kind of, like sour between, not like all the way sour, but it was like there are some problems between us, like minor problems. We just didn't really talk that much. I talked with literally everybody else there, but it was him that was all like, nah, that dude kind of shady. But I remember like around the time I started working there, he was like, I guess like he was trying to get my attention. I'm like, bro, we're surrounded by people, okay? So if you want to get my attention, guess what's hanging off of the left side of my chest right now? A name tag, which says my name, Tyler. I'm like, you can say my name. But he said, I think he was all like, sir, can you pass me that? And I didn't know he was talking to me. He was like, all right, guess I'm just talking to myself. So I kind of just looked at him and gave him a look like, bro, what is you talking about? And so I'm like, were you talking to me? And he was like, yes, I was asking if you can. I'm like, bro, I made sure I turned so he can see my name tag. Because I'm like, bro, don't talk to me like that. I'm like, I don't care what your back life story is. But I'm like, you need to chill out, because I'm like, it ain't that deep, bruh. So I'm like, if you really needed something to be handed to you, you could say, hey, Tyler, can you hand it? But it's all like, sir, can you? I'm like, first off, I ain't no sir. I'm a 20, I was like, at the time, I think I was like 19 years old. I'm like, I'm not even old enough to be a sir. So anyways, but it wasn't nothing compared to what I had going on with it. That was just like the one and only time incident that I had with that guy. But other than that, we didn't really talk that much. I just know, because there were at times where he would come back and things, I think for like pay stubs and stuff, and he'll talk to everybody else, but he won't say nothing to me. So I'm like, all right, I ain't gonna trip about it. But no, the supervisor and the cashier, that's where all the problems were at. My goodness, man. If I could go back, I definitely would change things. Like that is one thing for sure, because I'm like, I am like, adult enough to admit it. Like, I am a little hard-headed. So, when you tell me something, you tell me, oh, can you go out and do this? I'm like, why can't you do it? That was my mindset. But then it was like, as the time progressed on, like those guys at work, they would ask me, hey, like, Tyler, can you go out and do this? I'm like, yeah, sure. Or I just would jokingly play around and be like, no, I ain't gonna do it. But I'm just playing. I know I'm going to do it and stuff. But at the time being, when I very first started working there, they would ask me to go do something. I'm like, how come you can't do it? You ain't doing nothing. They was like, I am doing something. I'm like, you ain't doing that now. We out here having this conversation. That ain't doing nothing. So, but it was stuff like that. And so that was always me in the conversation with the supervisor. But then me and the supervisor, we ended up being cool with each other. So that's why I was like, okay, we work things out. We did have our differences, but we was like, we worked things out, sat down, talked. And from there, we was always cool with each other. But it was the cashier. That's where the problems were at. That's where I was like, hey, dang. I think if I could, with the mindset that I have now, could go back in time, I definitely would have tried to, not have it, if we didn't talk or if we wasn't cool, I definitely would have just, had it where it was we could have had, a respecting towards each other. I respected her, she respected me, and it was just a situation where it's we ain't gonna be doing petty stuff to make each other mad. Because I know we would do things like not hold the door open for each other or not listen to each other, just overall. And it was stuff like that where I'm like, dang, man, I hate working in, environments or just overall being in an environment like that. Because I know there was that times where I would be around kids at my school like that, and I'm like, yo, what is you mad for? I remember, to just kind of get off subject, I just remember there's this one girl that just had a major attitude issue. And the only reason why I was cool with her, because she was a wrestling fan. And so I'm like, if she wasn't a wrestling fan, every time there's these tables that I will always chill at early in the morning, I would have went and did a whole lap around the school before I sat at them tables. I'm like, cold days, hot days, it didn't matter which day it was. That girl she had attitude issues, and so I'm like, hey, yo, look, you keep that over there. But once I found out she was a wrestling fan, I'm like, oh, cool, we could talk about freaking Triple H or whoever was wrestling during the time when I was in high school. But anyways, back on this job. So, yeah, me and the cashier, we bumped heads. Never got along. And then at some point in time, she had ended up finding I believe it was a better job. She ended up finding a better job somewhere else in downtown Seattle. So that, at the time being, like I say, I wish I could go back in time and fix things, but it's done and over with now. But yeah, I was like, she found a better job, and so I was just like, cool. I'm like, less I gotta see of her and stuff, but yeah, that was my mindset back then. I'm like, cool, she ain't gonna be here. I'm like, cool, fine, perfect, finally and stuff. But now I'm like, dang, I think if I were to run into her now, if we could just put this stuff behind us and just laugh about that, and I'm like, all right, cool, we could just laugh about it, crack jokes about it and stuff, and move on. Because there were at times where she had her moments where she was cool. So I'm not even gonna I ain't gonna say she was bad all the time, but it's just the negative things stuck out more than the positive stuff. So, you know, that there were at times I found out she was a Beyonce fan. I'm like, yo, everybody loves Beyonce. You can't go wrong with Beyonce. You bring up Beyonce in the conversation, I'm like, hey, yo, that's a conversation. So, but anyways, but no, she ended up leaving. So at that point, then we hired, there's this other cashier. Now that cashier, I think I would have rather dealt with the first cashier than this one, because she would like purposely cause problems. A person that like, where you are overall looking for that like attention to like just cause problems, I'm like, nah, you gotta go far, far away from this spot, okay? Please, just go, just leave. We don't need that here, okay? So, but no, so they hired this cashier, and then it was funny because the supervisor had kind of told me about her and was all like, hey, yo, like, be careful because she's a little shady. So I'm like, hey, yo, you ain't gotta tell me twice. Like, you know, I'm gonna just be over here just doing my thing. I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm just gonna be over here doing my thing. So me and the supervisor, we were cool with each other, and we would like to like, okay, like, you know, something about to go down. Then it's like we would warn each other before it happens. So anyways, this cashier comes in. She automatically thought she was the boss. And I'm like, it don't work like that. Not at all. So I remember, so the supervisor, she ended up having to have surgery. So she was gone, and the manager, I felt like I should have started off by talking about him. You know, that manager, I'm gonna say this. You know, this is gonna probably be the only like name that I drop. So just in case he hears this and things, just know I'm talking about you, bro. But his name was Adam. Now I ain't gonna say all the other managers is bad, but I'm just saying, like, if it ever got to the point in time where I was like extremely famous and he wanted to be like my, like, you know, manager and stuff, he's hired. Automatically hired. I'm like, I already have it planned. I'm like, yo, because I remember he told me like one of his dream cars is a BMW. So I'm like, I don't know. I can't remember which one it was, but I know the ones that I like is the i8. So I'm like, I'm probably going to end up getting him the i8, like when I really do make it and stuff on YouTube, just to be like, hey, bro, like you hired me on. And I'm pretty sure there was other people that came to you with the opportunity of working at this place. Most likely would have did a better job. You gave me the opportunity. I was able to get the things I needed for YouTube. So you took a chance on me, and I appreciate that. So I'm like, I gotta repay him back somehow. One of these days. One day I'm gonna do some like David Dobrik style video and just be like buying my old manager a BMW i8 and stuff. So be prepared for that video. Hopefully that video will be coming out soon. You know, if I got like a massive amount of support on YouTube. But anyways, the supervisor ended up getting surgery. So the manager, Adam, he told me, he was like, hey, Tyler, look, you're in charge. So if this other cashier, if she tries to like tell you what to do, just let her know you're in charge. So I had power. I was all like, I'm not going to abuse it, but I'm just going to be like, okay, cool. Now when somebody comes up to me and tell me like, hey, go out and do this, I can have an argument with them. So I'm like, cool, finally. I'm like, this is all that I wanted. So anyways, I remember that there is before the supervisor had her surgery, I remember them two, they had got into a yelling match. I've never have seen this type of stuff. Throughout the years of working there, I've never seen it where employees have gotten into yelling matches. I've seen it where they've argued with each other, but never have gotten into yelling matches. Now, we've yelled, we've screamed, we did everything, but never towards each other. You know, well, there was the one dishwasher. I'm going to talk about her at some point in time. I'll make sure. This is going to probably be a long episode because I'm going to be talking about 4 years of working at this place. So, but anyways, but no, 2016, 2017, like that time era of working there. So yeah, the supervisor and this other cashier, they bumped heads. They were going at it. And I was like, there was at times where I would be ringing up a customer with my eyes all big, like, hey, yo, what am I supposed to be doing? Like, what's going on here? Like, this ain't supposed to be happening and stuff. So anyways, but no, I remember that it was the supervisor, it was, well, her last day before she had this surgery, they got into it, and I'm like, dang, like, y'all really doing this right now? I'm like, I ain't gonna jump in the middle of it because there's a black woman and a Hispanic woman. I'm not doing that. I'm like, I'm not even cut out for that type of stuff. I'm not gonna put myself in that line of fire. That's like two rocket launchers just going back and forth, rapid fire, explosions left and right. I know if I were to jump in and be like, hey, yo, both y'all, especially to like, because I was the youngest person there. The supervisor, she was in her 30s, and then the cashier was in her 40s. If I were to jump in the middle of that and be like, hey, yo, y'all need to chill out and stop all that yelling, talking to them as if I got authority, then I had been getting yelled at. So I'm sitting there like, oh my God, what do I do? Like, no, I'm not going to do that to myself. So anyways, I just let them go at it. I was like, I think if it would have came to like fist or slaps or hair pulling or I don't know, some kicks in case they knew some like karate or some mixed martial arts, then if it had been some mixed martial arts, I'm like, no, I must just sit back and watch this because I'm like, I haven't seen a good fight in a long time. So, but if it came to like blows, like jokes aside, I would have tried to like jump in the middle of it and be like, hey, yo, y'all need to like chill out on that. So anyways, so the supervisor, she goes, now I'm in charge. And so this cashier, so they ended up hiring a cashier. He was pretty chill. I just, me and him would talk. I try to talk with everybody there. I was like, hey, I'm like, just, I guess, like, break that ground of, like, awkwardness and things. Because I'm like, I ain't gonna, because there's these, like, 2 other locations where, unless it was somebody that I knew or they worked at our location, because it just seemed like that at our location, we would, like, talk a lot amongst each other. The other locations, dead silent. So that's why I was like, I really didn't like working at those locations. Plus, I didn't know, when they would have me work at those other locations, I'm like, look, I don't know what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing at my location, so can I just work at my location, please? Thank you. Because I hated working at the other locations. Like, it was my job, but I'm like, I hated it. I always tried to fight that stuff. But so anyways, so they hired a cashier. And then this other, the 40-year-old cashier, she's just doing her thing. But occasionally she'll come up to me and be like, hey, Tyler, can you go do this? I'm like, I can't really do it. I remember there was a time where she asked me to go out and do something. I was like, I can't currently do that right now. So I'm like, can you do it, please? And then she was like trying to argue with me on why I need to do it. I'm like, well, I'm busy. So I'm like, I can't do that right now. So it's like, either you do it or it ain't going to get done. Because I'm like, I'm busy right now. So I'm like, can't be really out here. Like, Adam gave me a job. I ain't going to be doing what you need. I'm like, you ain't even the boss. Like, please, go. Get out of my face. And so I didn't say all that, but I was just like, I can't do that right now. I was professional when I was at work. But I think if it would have been like some school stuff, if I had been still in school and she came up to me and be like, can you do this? I'm like, who are you? I'm like, I must have like short-term memory loss because I don't know who you are. And so, but I'm at my job, so I'm like, okay, let me just keep things professional, all right? So anyways, so yeah, I guess there, that time where she was like arguing with me about like going out and doing whatever, and I just kept shutting her down over and over again. She goes in the back. She disappears. I'm out in the front handling everything pretty much by myself because I think so the other cashier, he ended up getting fired. And because there was like some things that had happened in his personal life that got to him and stuff, and so he ended up getting fired because he was showing up late. So so Adam was helping me and the other cashier, the 40-year-old cashier. So anyways, so she goes in. So Adam, I think, was in the he was out doing something because I'm like, he was like the manager, so he would be at all locations and stuff doing things. I'm like, I'm telling you, that man was Superman. But anyways, he would be at like the other locations doing stuff. So it was just me and her. I told him, I'm like, hey bro, I got this. And so it was like towards the end of the day, so it was slow. So I was out, I think in the front, like, just doing some stuff. And then one of the cooks that came up to me and was all like, hey, such and such is crying. I'm like, what's she crying about? And I'm thinking, well, what do you expect me to do? I ain't gonna cater or, have sympathy for that. She's crying. I'm like, but I gotta work. So I'm like, I'm out here I ain't getting paid to, console the person and, pat them on the back when they're crying. I'm like, this woman, I'm like, come on now. I'm like, you shouldn't be out here crying over some stuff like that. I'm like, cry over something a little bit more that's gonna be getting to you. If that got to you, oh my, this job ain't cut out for you then. But anyways, yeah, that cashier, she was weird, bro. I remember there was even after the supervisor had her surgery, I remember she came back to visit and stuff because she was still working there, but she was still out on sick leave and stuff. But I remember she had she came by, visited, was cracking jokes, laughing, gone, disappeared. That was the one thing that the 40-year-old cashier would do. She always would wipe down counters. So when she came, so when the supervisor had came to say hi and things that just let us know that she was okay, she's wiping down all the counters, just disappearing. I'm not like, hey yo, like at least just be like put that stuff behind. I'm like her life was in kind of some danger and stuff with the surgery and things, and so I'm like, I don't care. She came up to me and been like, hey, how you doing or something, even if we had problems. Because my thing is that even though she was my supervisor and we were cool with each other, but we would occasionally bump heads and stuff, and so but at the end of the day, we was cool with each other. We threw all that stuff behind. And I just think that was something that we knew about each other. Like, hey, we gonna bump heads at some point in time, but tomorrow or whenever, either it's today or tomorrow, that stuff is gone out the window and we cool with each other, okay? So that was one thing that I had to say I really did like and respect about my old supervisor. But she came back visiting and stuff, and then she came back like permanently. And so I think at that point they had switched the I think they had hired a cashier. Yeah, they hired a cashier there. She was chill. Then the supervisor came back, and so we had our like thing on lock. You know, we were chilled at our location, and then the 40-year-old supervisor or 40-year-old cashier, they took her to like a slower location because there is at times like I'll never forget when she had to call out for the whole day just to take her kid to school. And I remember Adam, he was so mad telling me that because I was like, hey, where's such and such? And he was all like, she's out today. She's taking her kid to school. I poked because there's like an office, so there was like the lockers was like right next to the office that Adam would be in while he's working. I poked my head in there. I was like, taking her kid to school, and that's why I think I ended up becoming cool with the chef there. His name was Mark. Mark was super chill. Mark, he's like he's like somebody where I'm like, I think if I'm having like a wedding event, if the day I get married, I'm like, Mark, I will give you freaking like however much money you want. Just come to my wedding. Just please, just cook. I'm like, not even so. You don't even have to cook, bro. Just come to the wedding. I will pay you. I'm like, he's one of those people where it's like he was chill because he was like, even though that man was white, past life had to been black. I'm like, I don't care. That dude had to been like a thug from the 70s or 80s, but he was black. I don't care what anybody, or he was just around a lot of black people. But no, Mark was chill. Jokes aside, he was a pretty chill dude. So anyways, but I remember that I was like, my reaction to that, I was all like, because when he said that she's gonna be gone because she's taking her kid to school, I'm like, hey yo, how long does it take to take your kid to school? Like, does your kid go to school in New York? Because we're in Seattle, so I'm like, I can understand, like, you got to drive to the airport, depending on where you're at. That's going to probably be like 20, 30 minutes. And then if you get in a private jet to just take you directly to New York, like, I guess I can understand that might take some hours and stuff. And then you got to travel back, and then you got to travel back to go get your kid and travel. So my thing is like, that's going far beyond. That's like leading into the next day. So I'm like, why can't you not just find a school for your like kid out here somewhere so you won't be doing? But if that's not the case where your kid don't go to school in New York and he goes to school out here, why do you need to take the whole day? Because I'm like, hey yo, whether your kid's walking, whether your kid is jogging, sprinting, you driving him to the school, it should not take the whole day to take your kid to the school. So that's why I'm like, hey, yo, like, I'm like, if she quit, she quit. I'll do this whole thing by myself. I'm like, I don't need that. I'm like, because I'm like, that don't even make no sense to me. So, anyways, so yeah, but at some point in time, she did quit. So it was like, yeah, we don't need her. Like, there's like none of the locations need her because I'm like, that girl, she got some issues, and so. Anyways, so then at that point, the supervisor, she ended up leaving, and then the other cashier that was there, she ended up leaving too. So then I can't remember who was working with. Oh, then there was another cashier that they hired on. So she was chill too. All the like cashiers and supervisors afterwards, because then one of the supervisors, me and him, we ended up becoming good friends. His name is Jack. You guys might have heard me mention him before. So Jack, they ended up hiring him. Chill dude from the start. And chill dude from the start all the way up to the last. Like, that's why I'm like, hey, yo, me and him, we're like friends outside of this, like cafe and stuff. Because, yeah, it was like, we were like, it didn't even, like, the thing is that I had like a respecting for Jack because, he had like he was probably like one of the very few people that told me about their personal lives, like outside. That was like one thing where it's like, we were all chill there, but I remember he was like one of the first people to tell me about like his like personal life and what he got like going on outside. And he was into music. So I'm like, hey, yo, everybody is into music. At some point in time, like you dabbled into making music at one point. But he was serious about his. Like, no, he joined the band. They had music on. They have music on Spotify. I remember he took some time off to work on an album. Like, that was like one of the things I had to say that I really just like did respect and like liked about him. Cause I'm like, hey, yo, that dude's serious about his stuff. So, but anyway, so they ended up hiring Jack. And originally he was a cashier, but then he ended up taking the supervisor position. I know people have asked me how come I didn't take it, because I didn't want to be around the managers that much. At that point in time, Adam had left, so they had there was like other managers that was there, and I didn't really want to like, you know, be caught up in that, because I'm like, based off of what the other supervisor had told me, I'm like, hey, yo, I don't want to be no supervisor. So I'm like, Jack, that's all you, bro. I'm like, hey, look, it's, you know, you getting some money in and stuff. Plus, I ain't really, I don't like, I still don't have that many responsibilities. Jack had more responsibilities than me, because I remember that was one of the things that he told me. He was like trying to find himself a better place. So I'm like, well, why did I take that job? And he's trying to find himself a better place, and he can use the extra money. So I'm like, hey, yo, but I'm like, bro, you take that job, man. I'm like, I mean, it's messed up like in the situation that you're in. But I'm like, that's all you, bro. I'm like, nah, I'm like, I don't have no responsibility. So I'm like, I'm not going to take up a job and then just do what? I'm like, you know, it's like, nah, that's all you, bro. So anyways, so he ended up taking the job as the supervisor. So, but he was still chill. Like, it was like, it didn't even seem like he was a super. It still just seemed like he was a cashier. But it's like, only thing that he had to do was like, just like work more. Like, or I guess like, hey, he had to do like some meetings with the managers and some other extra stuff, but it was like stuff that was like anybody can do it and things. So anyways, but because it was like, what they had it where he had to like make like signs, like he was like, because it was like we were cashiers and stuff. I think, yeah, we already established that. So it was like, what we had to like do like a little bit of extra like computer work. I don't know, like I wasn't a supervisor, I was just a cashier, so I'm just going based off of what I seen and things. But anyways, so yeah, they ended up hiring him, and then the one cashier, they ended up firing her because she was showing up late a lot. I remember there was a day she showed up at like 2:00. 2:00 is when we close. Like, I was like, hey, yo, like, you should have just, I mean, I appreciate you for showing up here and helping out, because I'm like, it is a lot of work, like, at the end of the day where we got close up and stuff. So I do appreciate you for showing up, but I'm like, hey, yo, like, in a situation like this, you could have just stayed home. Like, I wouldn't have been mad at you if you had stayed home. I'm like, hey, we did the whole day by our, where it's just me and Jack. We could have gotten the, like, end of the day stuff, too. So, anyways, so they ended up letting her go. And then that's when things kind of started like going, like stuff was like, okay, it was like solid. And it just seemed like that it wasn't like no breaking point. But that's where I had reached my breaking point, when they just figured, you know what, Jack and Tyler, they got all this stuff on themselves, so they can do this all. They don't, you know, we don't have to hire a third cashier. And I'm like, no, this is a 3 cashier job. We hiring a third cashier, which eventually they did, because they had, so they went months. I think they went like maybe 5-6 months not hiring a cashier. So I had called for a meeting, because I'm like, hey, yo, we got to talk about this. What's going on here? I'm like, it don't make no sense where it's like, it takes you guys this long to find a cashier, bro. I'll go and find a bum out on the street. We worked in the middle of Seattle. There was like 100 million bums. There was 101 Dalmatian bums out there. I'm like, no, we hiring somebody. All right. So anyways, they so I remember we called. I called for a meeting. It was all like, hey, yo. I'm like, Jack said what he needed to say. And then everybody else said they need to say. And I was like, look, only thing I want to know is, when are we getting another cashier? Because I'm like, I just feel like that we're not being appreciated enough when we're doing all this extra work. And then you're adding more work on top of it. And we don't have a third cashier. I'm like, there's days where I am drained. I'm like, and that's one thing that I'm like, that Jack, he probably doesn't know. He probably really thought that I was like in there, because I would come out of the bathrooms telling him like, hey, yo, bro, I'm like, my stomach hurt. I had to. In reality, Jack, if you're hearing this, I was in there on my phone. I was in the bathroom on my phone. Like, I was down, like, I could have went somewhere else, but I figured, hey, you know what? let me just, go into the bathroom. There were some days though where I was all like, hey bro, my stomach, it actually hurt. Like any other day, yeah, I was on my phone. But no, I'm like, there are some days where I'm all like, nah, bro, my stomach was in pain. Like I might have to go home because I'm like, I don't think I can be here and stuff. The way that I'm feeling right now. So, but no, he might know, he might not know. But I'm like, Jack, if you're hearing this, just letting you know. Yeah, I'm like, I was in there just on my phone chilling because I'm like, there's at times like where I'm like, bruh, can we hire? So I am tired. I need a nap. Like I need to just take, because we had like a 10-minute break in the morning, and then we had a 30-minute lunch break, and then we had another, or no, I think it was like maybe like right before the place had started closing down. Then we would just all just kind of take like another like 10-minute break and things, just be relaxing and chilling and stuff. And so yeah, I was all like, we were doing that. And then, but yeah, I was like, at times, I'm like, nah, I need like an hour break. I need me a nap. Like, I'm like, I just need to just sit down for a second, listening to my music, chug a Red Bull or something. I don't know, but I'm like, I just need to relax for a moment. But, anyways, so at that point, eventually they did hire another cashier, which ended up being another friend of mine. Her name is Melissa. Shout out to Melissa. But she was chill. Melissa was chilled, and then at that point, like, we were solid, but then Melissa, she ended up saying she was going to leave here soon, or she was going to leave at the end of the year. So I do remember it was like she ended up leaving, and then I thought they were going to try to do another stuff where I was like, hey, yo, like, y'all going to have to hire another cashier. I ain't going to do this where we go like, and this was like before the pandemic and stuff. So, yeah, it was like at that point, like once when Jack had got hired on and stuff, and then we had the other cashier, and then it was like at a point in time, but the place was like solid for the most part and stuff. So we was doing our thing, like me and Jack, we was doing our thing. And I had to say, like, things started like, getting on to like 2019 and stuff. Yeah, so then Melissa ended up leaving, and then they ended up hiring Megan. Megan, she was chill because she ended up working. So it's a funny story about Megan. Megan, so for those that know or don't know, I'm a sneakerhead. I love shoes. I love everything shoes related. Adidas, Jordans, Nike, you name it, okay? So around the time when I was getting into shoes, Megan, I didn't even know Megan at the time, but there is a guy that worked at the Champ store that I would go to like get me some Adidas or some Jordans or some Nikes or whatever. So he told me a lot about the Adidas shoes. And so at that point, him like telling me about like the Adidas shoes and all that stuff, like I was just like, I learned some things from him. But he ended up leaving the Champ store and stuff. So I was like, well, dang, I was like, that was my guy. Like, he never like gave me any like deals or sales, but it was just always cool just going in there, just, talking with them and stuff. So I'm like, at times I was like, I didn't even go in there to like buy any shoes. I was just going in there to just see how he was doing and stuff. So anyways, but he ended up leaving. And so there was another cashier that was there. I was like, hey, yo, what happened to the one guy that worked here? And he was like, he ran off with my cousin. I'm like, he ran off with your cousin? Like, where? Like, you can't catch them? I'm like, what do you mean? Like, he ran off. And so he was all like, he started dating my cousin, then they just disappeared. And I'm like, oh, dang, I'm sorry to hear that. I'm like, honestly, I see you still suffering from it, so I'm just gonna go over the Foot Locker. I'm like, cause Champs right now, there's some hostility in here. So fast forward, Megan gets hired. Megan eventually ends up like adding me and following me across social media. So I clicked on her profile, being the nosy person I am, because who doesn't do that? Who doesn't be a little nosy when you add like because you want to see their personal lives. You're like, okay, let me see if they, into some weird stuff. I wasn't thinking that about Megan, but I seen a photo of her and a guy. Guess who the guy was? The guy was the dude that got me into shoes, which turned out to be like, I think it was her ex at some point in time. Like they ended up like, I think because I remember at some point in time after she got hired, then she told me like how she broke up with her boyfriend. I'm like, oh dang, man, that's messed up. I'm sorry to hear that and things. I'm like, that's, it's really messed up. I hope everything is okay with you and stuff. Like, I know that stuff can get to people, so I'm like, I hope everything was chill with her. But she, but then I was like, then she ended up adding me on social media. And I seen the photo, and I remember bro, that was like the one morning, I think that was like the last morning I was so pumped to come into work, because I'm like, I got to ask her this question. I'm like, I need to know. And so I was like, just to confirm it with myself. As soon as I walk up to her, Jack, he's just like, oh, what's up, Tom? I'm like, not right now. Question for Megan. I'm like, okay, I ain't do that to Jack. I'm like, I ain't got nothing but love for Jack. Jack's the bro. But anyways, I walked up to her, and I'm all like, did your ex work at the Champ store? She was like, yes. I was like, in Federal Way? She was like, yes. I'm like, I'm like, the man got me into shoes. He's the one. Like, you like wondering how come I got like every rainbow colored shoe. I'm out here wearing red shoes in one day, blue shoes the next, orange shoes on Wednesday, green shoes on Thursday. Then I'm like, what? I might change it up and just, wear some shoes because I really like them other ones. I'm wearing the same ones, some black ones or something. So I was all like, oh my God, like, that was like the most strangest connection ever. I'm like, dang, like, I didn't know that. And so I'm like, yo, I'm out here all like, oh yeah, I'm like, your ex, I'm like, I'm like, because when she was telling me about her ex, I was just like, oh yeah, that man messed up. He did all these. I'm like, yo, that's messed up, man. I'm like, he out here doing. So I'm all like, not realizing I'm talking about the man that got me in the shoes and stuff. And so I'm like, there's like freaking days where I'm like, oh yeah, dude got me in the shoe. That was the coolest dude ever. He was chill. Then she like 2 hours later, she like, yeah, my ex, he such. I'm like, oh yeah, that dude messed up. I'm like, but the guy that got me in the shoes though, that was a cool. I'm like, maybe I should introduce y'all. Not really, never. Okay, I never said that, but I'm like, hey yo, like that been. If I had did that, I had quit. I had just been like, nah, I'm quitting. I'm like, I ain't been through too much stuff right now, so I'm like, I can't go through this anymore. So I'm like, I'm leaving. But anyways, so no, they hired Megan. Megan, she's super chill. Another friend of mine's. Yeah, pretty much like it was like all the like final few cashiers that worked there. We were all chill with each other. And then me, Megan, and Jack, we were the last cashiers that worked at that place because of COVID and stuff. So we had all got laid off. But other than that, like amongst the cashiers, it was chill. Now management has some issues and stuff, because I was like, at times I was like, bro, I don't know what's going on here, but it needs to stop. All right. So I'm like, there was like, Adam was chill. There was another manager that was there. She was chill too. Like there was like a few managers that was chill, but then there was the other ones that was like, hey yo, like what's your deal? Like, I know I'll never forget when a manager, she told me at the last second, like, at least, like, give me time to, like, prepare for, like, to mentally prepare myself for when I'm going over to another location. But like I said before, I hated working at the other locations. So I get to work. They always did that stuff. They always was all like, oh, you're not working here today. You're working at the other location. I'm like, why? Like, dang, are they really sick? Like, is something really wrong with them? I'm like, they're giving birth today. I'm like, okay, well, they can't give birth at the cafe. Like, why they gotta be at the hospital? Doesn't giving birth, like, I'm like, okay, have her at the hospital at this time. But as soon as that baby comes out, hey, yo, she needs to come. Okay, I didn't say all that. I ain't that, dark and stuff. But anyways, but no, they were like, let me know at the last minute. So I'm like, all right, I guess. So anyways, that was my reaction every time. That was my reaction every time when they asked me to go work at another location. I guess this one time it just made the manager a little bit upset. So I go and I'm coming into work, and then she was all like, oh, Tyler, you're not working here today. You're working at the other location. I'm like, I guess. I'm like, and my thing is, it's like, it's 6, 7 in the morning. First off, I'm tired. Okay, I haven't even drank the Red Bull. And I'm like, and you're expecting me to be all like, oh yeah, I'm so happy to work at this other location. Yeah, let's go. I'm like, let's just sprint all the way there. We don't even walk. We just sprint there and stuff. I am tired. So I'm like, you got me coming. I go to this. I'm like mentally prepared, settled in for this location. And now I gotta go to another location and then stay there for the whole day. In this location, I was the only cashier. I never really, there was like one cook that was there that I would talk to. But other than that, like everybody else, dead silent. I didn't know any of the customers that went there, or that worked there. And so I'm like, bro, like, my thing is just to let you guys know, like, when you don't have your like go-to employees or go-to customers to talk to throughout the day, work is terrible. work, it is terrible. I don't care what anybody says. It is a horrible feeling to like be around people that you don't know, or just be around one person and stuff. So I go there, and then she was like the manager was at the cash register doing some stuff. But so anyways, I'm walking up and I'm all like, I think I was all like, I can't remember what question I asked her, but I asked her a question. She answered it. And then she just started going off. She was like, that was really immature how you acted at the other cafe today. Would you act like that towards your mother? I'm like, first off, you don't know my mom. And second, you wouldn't even last in my family. I'm like, if my reaction, to me having to work at another location, if that got you upset, you wouldn't last in my family. So I'm just going to throw that out there right now. I'm like, I don't know my thing was that all I just did was that all I did was like, all right, I guess. That's it. That's all I said. I didn't cuss. I didn't get mad. I didn't throw no fits. None of that stuff. And if I did, I had to been playing. I had to been joking. Everybody at that place knows me as a joker. I'm always joking with people, all right? So she said that, and that kind of like left a bad feeling in me. I'm like, hey, yo, first off, you don't even know my mom. So I'm like, don't even ever talk about my mom again. So I'm like, but I can't say that because she's the manager. I'm going to get fired if I really want to say what's on my mind. So anyways, I was like, I just kind of just brushed. I walked off. I was like, you know what? Walking off is probably the best thing for me because if I say what's on my mind, I would have lost my job long before COVID, all right? So anyways, I told all the other guys that, and they was like, bro, you didn't even have a reaction. You wasn't mad or anything. Like, what is she talking about? So I asked other people because I'm like, okay, maybe I'm just crazy. Maybe I just, I'm just having one of those, like, Joker moments where stuff ain't really adding up. Like, 1 + 1 is somehow equaling 3. Like, this things ain't, adding up correctly and stuff. So I'm like, maybe I am just a little bit crazy. But no, I started asking other people, and they was all like, oh, yeah, that was weird that she just snapped about some stuff like that. So I'm like, okay, so I'm not crazy. So anyways, that kind of left like a bad taste in my mouth about her because I'm like, hey, yo, I'm like, you acting hostile and weird towards people for what reason? I don't know. But I'm like, you need to chill on that because I'm like, my thing is that I remember like prior before COVID, I always thought like these guys is going to hire somebody that's like truly from the hood. They're truly like, they got like wires and freaking knobs and stuff that is missing, and that if the wrong thing touches it, there's going to be a spark, and there is just going to be nothing but just rage and anger. Okay, so anyways, so after that, I was all like, hey, you know what? I was distant from her after that because I'm like, nah, that was like, when you start acting like that, carrying on, I'm like, nah, I'm gonna act distant because I'm like, I don't know what you got going on with you today. So, but anyways, but other than that, I was all like, the other manager, there was like 2 other managers that was pretty chilled there. So one was the catering manager, and then she was the manager at the location that I was working at, plus like the cashier and all that stuff. So catering manager, she was chill. There was like some other catering managers. All the catering managers, well, there was like one, she kind of had like, I couldn't joke with her because I remember one day I said or did something and she just started yelling, and I'm like looking at her like, I'm like, I don't think that's all like, called for. I'm like, what are you yelling about? I'm like, first off, I'm in the office because we were in the office when she started yelling at me. I'm like, okay, first off, I am not that far away from you. You do not need to yell. I can hear you perfectly fine at a normal volume. You need to relax. Like, that's the thing where I'm like, when people get the yelling and all that stuff, I'm like, I do my best to like, keep quiet. But I'm like, but if it had been like at a point in time, like let's say if they was dealing with like high school Tyler would have came back at them with that same energy. I'm like, oh, you want to yell? Oh, do you want to yell? Because I can yell, bro. I'll give you the best WWE promo. I'm like, oh, I will be yelling. So I'm like, okay, like, as I got older, I realized, like, that's just going to probably just lead into some violence or, to some altercations that just don't need to happen. So I'm like, and most likely high school Tyler would have got fired first year. Not even first year, first month of working at that place. High school Tyler would have got fired. So anyways, So yeah, I remember, but all the other catering managers, like they was always chilled. Like I was like, I remember one time they actually had me do like a catering event. It was more so like cleaning up the place and things and setting up, and so I was like, oh, okay. I'm like, this is fun. I'm like, I like this. You know, driving around Seattle midday, looking at all the buildings and the homeless people acting crazy in the streets for no reason. Yeah, I like this. This is cool. So, but yeah, catering, they were chill, but then it was, but yeah, it was like, there was the one manager, me and him, we kind of had, like, gotten up to, like, a bad start, but I remember, like, as the time, like, progressed on, like, we were chill with each other, like, he still did his things, I still did my things, but at the end of the day, like, he was chilled, he was chilled, okay, that's it, that's all I'm gonna say about that. So, but anyways, it was just, he was chilled, okay? I feel like people are gonna be like, hey, yo, what was wrong with them? Like, he would do some things that would just, irritate and upset people. But, like, as the time progressed on, like, I can tell he was just, like, a work in progress, like, person. Because I don't know, overall, like, if that was like his first job being a manager. Like, I'm not trying to, like, question his management abilities and stuff, but it just came off at times where I'm all like, I don't know about that. I'm like, I don't know about that at all. Like, because there would be at times where I'm all like, maybe he just didn't really focus on the, like, registers that much. But there would be at times where I'd be like, I'm killing it. I'm telling you, I would, as when they had me up at the cash registers by myself, and I would get slammed with the line. I'm working on both registers, ringing up two people at the same time. I'm like, hey, yo, y'all come to this one. So which you having? I'm like, you having 2 eggs bacon? Okay, which you having? 2 sausage bacon? Okay. Pressing buttons, and then eventually, yeah, ringing up people. So lines, like, gone, cool. I'm all like chilling and stuff. And then when the manager, when he would come up there and start working with me, he'll be like all slow about it, and I'm like, bro, come on, man, you the manager, you wearing a button-up shirt, I'm wearing a uniform, bro. Like, they gonna be thinking I'm the manager. Like, no, fam, like, you gotta work on that. Then he'll look over at me and be like, hey, yo, Tyler, he was like, where's the button at for, like, the eggs? I'm like, bro, it's right there. It's like, thing says 2 eggs. Like, he's like, where? Then, like 5 minutes later, there's like, where's the egg button? I'm like, bro, it's right there. Look at it, man. I'm like, don't, please stop. And so I'm getting carried away. Like, and then stuff would be messed up with the cash register because I am messed up on something and things. And so then they get the question of me. The one thing that I just didn't like was that every time when the register, when it would be messed up, then it's like, then they'll like look towards me and be like, well, how they get messed up? Like, not so much as like them saying that I'm stealing money from the cash registers, but there'll be like a receipt missing. So they would have to collect those receipts for the bookkeeper or something like that. And my thing was just like, hey, yo, look, like, we're ringing up hundreds of people every single day. We're going to slip up every once in a while. It ain't going to be major slip-ups, but we're going to slip up. But there is at times where some major slip-ups will happen. So I would just, sometimes register be a little short, or we'll mess up on counting or something. And so we would just overall, we would fix it and things. But yeah, but I was all like, man, I'm like, hey, yo, like, I ain't got, maybe if you guys had better registers, you guys got freaking cash registers from the 90s. Like, I seen this cash register in the freaking Terminator 2. Like, why do you guys got old registers? How come you guys ain't got, like, no digital, like, some registers is gonna get all of the receipts digitally? No, you guys have it. So, because my thing, they had, like, this old freaking 2001, like, Home Alone freaking whatever. Like, it was like some old register, bruh. And then if the register was to go out, so remember in Home Alone 2 when Macaulay Culkin, when he went to the hotel, and then the mom was like, I don't even think he'll know how to use a credit card. And then it cuts directly to that lady swiping the credit card. So you know that little machine that that she had to like swipe the credit card or to like copy it? There would be at times where the credit card machine would go out. So we would have to use that. And time after time after time, I would tell those guys like, hey, yo, why don't y'all have like no modern, why are we pressing in the buttons? Why is it that, because that's how the thing would work. So somebody would come up, they'll be like, I'm getting a burger. So there'll be like a button for the burger and things. And so press it, burger comes out to like $9. $9, you ring it up, and instead of the price going directly to the credit card machine, no, you gotta like type that stuff up. So then at times, like, so if I, like, let's say if the burger is like $9.86, the buttons would get sticky. All right, the buttons would get sticky. You think you done press 9. No, you just press 86. So now you only didn't charge this person 86 cents for a burger, and then they get mad at me. I'm all like, you serious? Like, humans have been here for years, okay? Like, humans have been here for years, all right? This ain't no problem on me, all right? This cash register has stopped being, like, you know, a thing, like, in 2004, 2005. Like, I'm saying, bro, like, the chip reader on that thing didn't work. Nothing on that cash register worked. And so I'm like, that thing would go out at times. And I'm like, do you understand how many times you guys are replacing this and yet you still blame me? Like, threatening me, talking about, like, oh, this, like, if you get, because I remember one time they wrote me up for the cash register being short. And I'm all like, do you guys understand that there would be less anger and frustration and just less problems if y'all would just go out and get a new cash register? Oh my God, like, you guys, my thing is that, why is it so hard? Like, dang, do you need me to, like, save up my money from my own paychecks and then, like, buy a new cash register? Then they had, like, these iPads. And so there's so there would be at times they'd be trying to use that thing barely even worked, and I'm all like, bruh, like, just get new cash registers. Like, if that place is still there, because I know they laid all of us off. I don't know if they hired new people or what they got going on right there right now and stuff, but I hope and pray that they got new registers, because if not, I'm like, hey, yo, y'all need to work on that. Y'all need to work on that, because I'm like, they ain't got nothing. Do you understand that every cashier that then went and worked through that place has always been somewhat short, or like the cash register has messed up on them, and the cash register would be short. It's like that for everybody, okay? Even for when the managers, when they're working up there, especially the one manager, he would mess up and that cash register would be like freaking gone, missing. Like, that's how short it would be. But no, I remember there was one, I'll never forget that. I remember there was a time where he messed up, because I think he counted my cash register. So at the end of the day, we count the cash register, make sure the till is at $300, and so on. So I remember there was a time where I was all like, I counted up the money, and then there's also a piece of paper in there. Cash register was only at 200, right? It was like 200, 250 or whatever. So I was like, hey, yo, like, the cash register, it's like $50, $100 short. I'm like, you was the one that counted it. So he takes the paper from me, goes in the back, comes back out, scribbles it, and then I think he put some money in there, because I think I went out and did some. So he got some money from the safe, put it in there, and then he was like, oh yeah, I don't know what you were talking about. He was like, it was at 300, and I'm like, I counted it. And the piece of paper, like, you know, piece of paper. So the piece of paper did say 300, but the till was like, I know how to count. That till only had 200. It was like $250. It wasn't $300, okay? So, yeah, I was all like, bruh, like, you, come on, man. Don't try to play with my mind like that. So, but, yeah, I'm like, everybody had messed up on those registers. So when they had wrote me up for that, I was like, nah, at that point, I'm like, you know what? I'm prepared to quit. I'm like, I'm prepared to lose my job at this place, because I'm like, hey, yo, I'm like, I could do YouTube and be perfectly fine. I'm like, I'm cool on that. So I'm like, which I am doing right now, and I'm like, and I'm doing perfectly fine. So when all that stuff was going down, I was all like, you know, I was like, I don't want to work at this place no more. I was like, I've always had that feeling and mindset where I'm like, I don't want to be here anymore. Like, I'm like, I just want to leave. I just want to go. I'm like, man, I can't do this every single day. So anyways, then COVID happened. So of course, like, I got laid off and all of that stuff. But anyways, it was like, to talk on, so I talked on everything, right? Talked on everything. I feel like the one key evidence to working at a cafe, right? One thing that I need me some water, because I'm like, my throat, I've been like sitting here, this is like the longest like podcast episode I've done in a while. So I'm like, I need some water, because I'm like, my throat, it's getting a little bit parched. All right, so give me a second. Okay, that feels better. Now I'm back on the right mind track. All right, so yeah, register was always short. But now, getting to the last thing about that place that was like, I will leave right now if I gotta deal with any more of you guys, the customers. Now I'm not gonna say all the customers was bad. There was customers there that was chill. There was customers there. I was like, hey yo, I remember there was this one tall customer. Like I would be just joking around, just having fun like with Jack and things, and overall just cracking jokes. But there's this one girl that was my customer crush. I was all like, hey yo, Jack. I was like, don't ring her up. I got it. I'm like, hey, one of them guys, they need you for something. He was like, they ain't told me. I'm like, hey, just one of those guys need you for something. So just leave right now, all right? I'll go up there, start asking her about her day, motivating her, giving her free food. I'm like, and them guys, man, I'm telling you, that was like a thing where I'm like, hey, yo, I really could care less what y'all have to say or think. But I'm like, there was a few girls there. I was like, hey, yo, y'all were my customer crushes and things. I ain't even gonna lie, but other than that, I was chill from them. I wasn't weird about it. There was one dude that worked there that was a cook. Every time, that was something that I'm like, I can't be that person. But every time when a customer would come through, he always, and if they were an Asian woman, an Asian attractive woman, okay, an AAW, all right, he always felt like, that might be a thing. I don't know. I was like, I might just make something up right now. But anyways, he always felt like he had to tell them that he spoke Japanese. And I'm like, bro, this girl's Vietnamese, that girl's Korean, and that girl's Chinese. They don't care if you speak Japanese, bro. You can't, that's how would you have felt? My question to him, I'm like, I wish I would have asked him that question too, because I was like, that dude, he was kind of on the edge at times. So I'm like, you can't approach him with a question going against him and stuff. Because I'm like, hey, yo, there's going to be a situation and stuff. And I'm going to probably need some people's help, all right? So, but my thing is how would you have felt if she had came up to you and been like, oh yeah, I speak African? You would have been offended, bro. So that's what I'm saying. You can't go up to every Asian girl that works there talking about, oh, I speak Japanese. Bro, the girl freaking, yeah, she might be Japanese, but that doesn't mean she knows how to speak it. There's probably girls that was born here, and got Japanese parents. They don't know how to speak a lick of Japanese. Their parents probably don't even know how to speak Japanese. So it's like, bro, what is you telling them that stuff for, man? It doesn't matter. Okay, it doesn't matter at all. That girl, I was waiting for a girl one day to be like, okay, and I speak English. We share a language thing going on. We both speak languages and stuff. Because I'm like, man, and then, oh my God, I'll never forget, there was a day where this one girl, so my thing, like I said, I was a joker, but I was a joker with the guys, girls, anybody that walked through there, freaking dogs, because there at times people was like, oh, this is my support animal, I need my dog. So, but other than that, I was a jokester with everybody. I'll always be cracking jokes, making people laugh, because I'm like, that's my thing. I'm a very, very positive person. So I'm like, I ain't going to come through here with a negative, energy and stuff and be like, oh, I got to be rude to you. I got to be rude to... No. So I'm like, there was a time where this girl, she came up to me and we were talking. I can't remember what I said, but it was just some random talk, some days it's you ain't gonna remember it. It's just random talk. So I guess she laughed, she was laughing hard, and the cook, he took notice to that. And so yeah, I was all like, I've made a lot of people laugh hard. I'm like, you just now real? I'm like, oh, because it was an Asian girl that doesn't speak Japanese. That's why you took notice to it, all right? I made the Vietnamese girl laugh. So anyways, I guess she laughed really loud when I said something to her, and then she walks up. He comes, I'm doing some cash register stuff. This man comes up to me and was all like, hey yo, Tyler, what'd you say to that girl? I'm gonna try to use it for myself next time when a girl comes through here. I'm like, bro, really? Now you stealing what I'm saying? I'm like, dang, man. I'm like, I don't even know that girl's name. I'm like, it was just a conversation between a cashier and a customer. I don't know that girl outside. He probably, oh my god, if there had been like a girl that like threw herself to me or something, like if that dude probably would have wrote in talking about I don't like the way that the customers are. He definitely had tried to get me fired because I'm all if all the Asian girls that had that worked in the building, because we worked in like in a building. And yeah, and then it was like people would come down from different floors and stuff. Oh yeah, he definitely probably like just like went to each floor, hacked into the computers, wrote into my manager saying like, oh yeah, that cashier Tyler needs to be fired, this, that, blah blah blah. And yeah, I'm like, bro, it's just you. Please don't just go back to your station, man. I'm like, please don't ask me no questions like that. What did I say to the girl so you can use it for yourself? I'm like, that's not how stuff works. I'm like, stuff don't work like that, man. So anyways, but yeah, I was like that. All right, let's, if we're gonna talk, I'm gonna save like the cashier, or the well, I need to. Dang, man. All right, I'm going to try to, like, speed run through all this stuff because I'm trying to make me something to eat at 10 o'clock and stuff. So, anyways, and it's, like, 9:51 right now. So, let's just give, like, a quick summary on all the, like, other, like, cooks and chefs and everybody that worked there. So, there was one manager that had, like, a breakdown, and he ended up leaving somehow. I was like, I don't know what happened to him, but I hope everything is okay with him. Then we had this dishwasher. She ended up breaking the elevator doors, and she ended up getting fired for that, but she would always yell at people. I remember one time she called the another cook there a female dog, but not she didn't call her a female dog. She called her the word that is used to describe a female dog. It rhymes with itch, but if you put like a B in front of it, there you go, all right? Called her that for literally putting dishes in the dishwashing area. Like, fam, you is a dishwasher. That is what your job is supposed to. I'm telling you, the dishwashing position at that place, you will always get some, like, there would be at times where you would get like a chill person, but other than that, everybody else was weird. I'm all like, I don't know how many times like you always get like some like weird. I'm like, nah. Like, dishwashing position does something to you. I love working at that. I'm like, maybe I'm crazy. Maybe that's why I like the dishwashing position so much there. But I'm like, yeah, maybe I'm just crazy. But anyways, but no, now talking on customers, all right? So, customers there are some chill customers, and then there are some bad customers. The bad customers made you hate that place. There was at times where customers like, and I would like, they would lose like cool points with me because I'm like, hey yo, I can't even like, and it wouldn't be stuff about me, but there would be at times like where customers would come up to me and say things about the other employees. I'm like, nope. I'm like, don't care how I don't care who you are or how cool we are and stuff. You talk about one of these employees, like now there's a conflict between me and you, because there is at times where Jack. There would be customers that would come up to me and say things about him like, oh, he cut me in line, and it's the salad bar. There isn't no line at the salad bar. What are you talking about? And so, but then I think there was another time when a customer, she said, I think she was like, she flat out didn't like him or something like that. And that she was like, she liked me more. And I'm like, I'm sorry. I'm like, I can't respect that. I'm all like, Jack ain't did absolutely nothing to you and stuff. And I'm like, and then you out here getting mad at him for what? For him being himself. I'm like, man's not allowed to be himself. Jack was like one of the reasons. I remember because I was like, if it wasn't for him working at that place, I probably would have left like back in 20, because I remember it was after they fired that one cashier for being late. I said, I was like, yeah, I remember I told her that. I was all like, once when you're gone, I'm leaving this place, because I'm like, I really don't care who else is working here and stuff. I'm out of here once when you go. And so Jack had started working there, and then at that point the place, like, it became like really chill and cool and stuff. And so I was all like, when that cashier, when she left, and I was like, I'm staying here. I'm like, because I'm not gonna put Jack in a situation where he's there by himself and things trying to, I'm like, and them people, it's like, they ain't gonna help and stuff. So anyways, so yeah, I was like, plus I'm like with the customers, I'm like, hey bro, I'm like, I ain't gonna, we both gonna be dealing with these customers, all right? So anyways, but yeah, I was like, there would be at times customers that come up and then they'll be like complaining about the cooks or the chefs, and I'm like, what do you want me to do? Just because I worked here for a long period of time, I can't do anything about that? I'm like, that's on them. You're gonna have to talk to them about that. I'm like, I don't know what you expect from me to do, but yeah, I was all like, there are at times where customers there where they were like, they would lose cool points with me saying some stuff like that. And then there would be the bad customers where I'm all like, why do you come through here? Like, why? I remember I had to stiff arm a customer one day. I had to do like a stiff forearm to him. So he goes, and he was taking forever to walk into the elevators and stuff. And I'm like, bro, don't take that long. It's just 1, 2, you're in. Okay, that's it. You stand off to the side, you stand off in the back, or you stand off on the other side. But when you're taking literally millions of steps to just go into the elevator and there's people behind you and the doors are closing, I threw my forearm out, pushed him in the elevator, and I said, please say something about it. I dare you to. Because me and him already had problems. So I'm all like, please say something about it. Because I'm like, these two girls is going to catch probably one of the craziest beatdowns of all time. Because I've been waiting for, I was waiting for that baby. He probably was all like, nah, this dude's like 20 years old. I'm like 60, however old he was supposed to be in things. I was like, I hurt that man. Because I'm like, that was one thing that was like a pet peeve of mine when working at that place. Was that when you tell a customer, like, when you overall like ask a customer, hey, how's your day going? Now, the polite thing to do is be like, oh, my day's going good. How about yours? My day's going good, too. All right, take your card, transaction, all that other extra stuff. Hey, have a nice day. You too, you have a nice day. Move it on, okay? Then just moving it on to the next customer. This was my pet peeve. So, customer walk up. Let's just say it was this guy that stiffed on me because he was like the one leading the pack of doing this crap. So, walks up. Hey, how's your day going? Dead silence. Dead silence. I'm like, all right, tell it be such and such. Throws his card out. I'm like, all right, guess nobody can talk. I'm like, just heard you talking, ordering your food. Now all of a sudden you can't talk. There's a volume thing. Maybe I can't hear him or something. I don't know. Maybe I'm in the Twilight Zone. Give him his card back. Have a nice day. Those are the footsteps. Him walking away. I'm like, all right, I guess what was... All right, I'm going to wait till the next customer. I'm like, hey, how's your day going? Oh, my day is going good. Tyler, how about yours? I'm like, okay, so I can hear people. I'm like, okay, cool. Like, so I'm like, I know I'm not going crazy here. So, yeah, customers would do that, and that was, like, my biggest pet peeve. I'm like, can you talk? Like, is something wrong with you? I mean, I'm saying you were talking at every given point in time in this area and stuff. Like, I'm saying, like, that stuff just don't make no sense to me. I'm like, that people, I'm like, you older than me carrying on like that for what? Why? I don't know, but that's just weird. But anyways, what else can I talk about that place? Then the good customers. Oh yeah, I love the good. There is a customer. Her name is let me see if she, I don't even know if she's still streaming or not, but I'm gonna give her a quick shout out in my Oh, she just followed me. She just followed me on Twitch. But no, her name is Midnight X Luna. That was one of the customers that I worked with. And yeah, she was chill. There is always those customers where I'm like, man, I am happy that you came through today. I'm like, please stay. Please just stay. Just sit here and talk with me. I don't care what we're talking about. Let's just talk, okay? Please, let's just talk for a second, all right? No. What are you going back up to your floor for? Just talk to me for a second. What did you do when you was 8 years old? Like, don't go up to your... And I'm like, man, all right, I didn't do all that. But I was like, there is at times where I'll deal with like 100 million like bad customers and things. There would be that one good customer where we out here sharing laughs, all of that stuff, being cool with each other. And Luna, she was definitely somebody that was like super chilled there. And then when they quit, oh man, that was like one of the conversations I hated hearing was like when a customer came up to me and be like, yeah, I'm like, I found me a better job, and so I'm going to be working at freaking the job that's taking me away from you, Tyler. And I'm like, all right, well, but I guess that is that. I'm like, man, what are you leaving for? Why? I'm like, look, I understand that this place is a little bit shady and there's a lot of racist people that's working here, but we can see past that, okay? It's okay. Like, we could just see past things, But yeah, other than that, it was there was customers there. I was all like, please, I'm like, don't go, please. I'm like, just stay here for a second. Let's just talk about things, all right? But yeah, I was like, man, it was messed up. It was messed up when she left. It was messed up when a lot of other customers left, and I was like, dang. I was like, man, I'm gonna miss you guys, but anyways, yeah, that's all that I can pretty much talk on. Are they showing like more wrestling stuff? Bro, is this no, they're not showing like what's this? They're showing I was like watching I was watching AEW as I was it's like some extra stuff, okay, but it ain't like actually showing some wrestling matches. I'm like, why are they showing more wrestling matches? But anyways, yeah, I was watching AEW while I was doing this whole episode. I just wanted to make sure I seen they had Shaq just wrestling not too long ago. Or at the beginning of the show. So I'm like, I made sure I had to like watch that, and then I'm like, okay, watch all the other stuff and do this podcast episode at the same time. But anyways, I somewhat missed that place, but at the same time I'm like, I am glad that I left. Like, I am so happy that I left that place. But anyways, yeah, I will talk to you guys later. Thank you guys for watching and or listening. If you're viewing this on YouTube, make sure you like and subscribe. And if you're viewing this on the podcast streaming service, make sure you follow or subscribe, however it's set up. Subscribe to one of my 31 YouTube channels. Follow me on Twitch, TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram at TMossBoss. And until then, I will talk to you guys later. Thank you guys for watching and or listening, and peace.